Hello, everybody. You're listening to Let's Master English, and my name is Coach Shane. Welcome to podcast number 5 of Let's Master English. Once again, my name is Coach Shane. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast. Without you, I would be alone. So I really appreciate it. Okay, transcripts. The transcript for podcast number 4 is up on our Google Plus community. The Google Plus community is called Let's Master English. So you can search, and if you want the transcript, you can get it. Podcast number 4 was transcribed by Bettina from France. She did a fantastic job. Thank you very much. And hey, everybody, if you want to do a little transcription, do a little transcribing of our podcast, you can. Just join the community and share your answers. Okay, iTunes. Now, we're getting a lot of downloads on iTunes. However, I don't know. There's no ratings. Now, Margarita, who's from Italy, actually she's from Poland, she said that she did make a rating for me. 5 stars. Thank you very much, Margarita, but I don't see it. So I'm curious. Does anybody else see any ratings for my podcast? I only see 2, and one of them was me. But we do have great statistics. So let me tell you, yes, Russia is still number 1. Russia has almost 1,000 downloads already. So thank you very much. Right behind Russia, well, actually, quite far, but in second place is Italy. That's right, they took over from the United States, which is in third place, and close behind the US is Japan, and close behind Japan is Brazil, and close behind Brazil is Mexico. Then there's a big gap, and then we go to Korea, France, China, and Vietnam, and that is the top 10. Saudi Arabia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Spain, Canada, Germany, Thailand. You're all right there, but you're not in the top 10 yet. Tell your friends in your country to listen to my podcast. Once again, you can get it on iTunes. You can also get it at my website, letsmasterenglish.com, and I upload it to YouTube also. However, the ones that go on YouTube, I don't know which country. So if you really want me to introduce your country, then you have to go to my website or to iTunes. Okay, in podcast number 4, we had a new corner, and it was called, Did You Really Understand? Did you really understand? And I asked 5 questions. So let me give you the answers. Question number 1, how many references of tuna in the article? Many. Chicken of the sea, fish, seafood, beef alternative, the stuff, it. Those were all references to tuna. What makes for a tuna sandwich? The answer, tuna, a hard-boiled egg, and mayo or mayonnaise. Question number 3, if you had a friend who was drinking too much alcohol, how would you advise him? Slow down on the beer. Number 4, is the guy still eating tuna? He's off tuna. And number 5, what are some of the symptoms of mercury poisoning? Dizziness and chest pains. That's what we learned in the article. Those were the answers. And now it's time to get into the news for podcast number 5. Although they say that man's best friend is a dog, we really ought to consider the swine. Thanks to a doctor in Florida and a pig, a man whose index finger was bitten off by a horse is whole once again. Using a technique created by Dr. Eugenio Rodriguez, the bones, soft tissue, and even the fingernail are growing back. He should be 100% in 8 more weeks. Oh yes, very, 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 very fast. Let me read it slowly. Although they say that man's best friend is a dog, we really ought to consider the swine. Thanks to a doctor in Florida and a pig, a man whose index finger was bitten off by a horse is whole once again. Using a technique created by Dr. Eugenio Rodriguez, the bones, soft tissue, and even the fingernail are growing back. He should be 100% in 8 more weeks. Okay, did you understand the story? I hope so. It's a little bit confusing. A couple of animals, a couple of big actions, verbs, main verbs. So the animals, we talked about the dog, we talked about a pig and a horse. The actions, we talked about bitten off, a finger that was bitten off, and a finger that was growing back. So if you understood that, then you've got most of the story. Let's go back to the first sentence. Although they say that man's best friend is a dog. Have you heard that expression? In America, we do say that. What about in your country? A man's best friend is a dog. A dog is a man's best friend. Why do we say that? Because it's true. Dogs are very loyal. Loyal. They love their master. If the master is nice to the dog and feeds the dog and pets the dog will always be by its master. Now, of course, women can have dogs, and we might say, a dog is a woman's best friend. But we don't have that expression. The expression is, a dog is man's best friend. Now, although they say that, who's they? People in general. In America, in the UK, people say man's best friend is a dog. Although they say that, even though they say that, let's move on, we really ought to consider the swine. We really should. O-U-G-H-T, ought to. Many students want to say ought to, but that's wrong. Well, in America. The typical pronunciation in America is ought to. It's an AW sound, ought to. And we put the T's together, ought to. But if we say it fast, we get that flap T sound, and it sounds like oughta. We really oughta consider. The swine. So here's another key word, swine, S-W-I-N-E. Swine is a pig. It's the science name for pigs. Do you like swine? Some other similar words. A cat, we can say feline. A dog, canine. A cow, bovine. And the list goes on. They might be the Latin names, but I'm not exactly sure. So look at the sentence again. Ought to means should, right? So listen again. Although they say that man's best friend is a dog, we really ought to consider the swine. Okay, so that means everybody says man's best friend is a dog, but maybe we should be saying man's best friend is a swine, a pig. That's interesting. So maybe a dog is a good friend, but maybe a pig is a better friend. Why? So now we need to go to the next sentence. Thanks to a doctor in Florida and a pig, a man whose index finger was bitten off by a horse is whole once again. Okay, so there was a man and he had a horse. Now, he was feeding the horse and the horse bit off his finger. Oh my God, so he's feeding the horse a carrot. Here's a carrot. Here's a carrot. Ow, that's not a carrot. That's my finger. Now, on our hand, we have many fingers, 5 fingers. So, actually in America, many people say 4 fingers and a thumb. So, let's start with the thumb. The first finger would be the thumb. Then we have the index finger. I-N-D-E-X, the index finger. We can also say the pointer. Then we have the middle finger. Yes, in America, the middle finger is a very dangerous finger. Do not use your middle finger in America. Then we have the ring finger, R-I-N-G, and that's where people put their wedding rings, if you're married, or any ring, I guess. And then finally, we have the pinky, P-I-N-K-I-E, and some people say P-I-N-K-Y, the baby finger, the little finger. So, the most important finger on your hand is what? For me, it's the index finger. I use the index finger to clean my ears and pick my, I use my index, never mind. Anyway, so this guy was feeding his horse carrots or cookies or something, and the horse bit off his index finger. Ow! Oh my God. But thanks to a doctor in Florida and a pig, his finger is whole once again. W-H-O-L-E. His finger is complete once again. Why is his finger? Now, the horse bit off the finger, but now it's complete. Why? Thanks to a doctor in Florida and a pig. So, a doctor in Florida and a pig are responsible for fixing this man's finger. It's really an incredible story. So, listen again. Thanks to a doctor in Florida and a pig, a man whose index finger was bitten off by a horse is whole once again. Let's move on. Using a technique created by Dr. Eugenio Rodriguez, the bones, soft tissue, and even the fingernail are growing back. My goodness. So, did they do surgery? No, it's not surgery. They're actually growing the finger back. Yeah, like maybe a starfish. Do you know the starfish in the ocean? It looks like a star. It's not really a fish, but it looks like a star. If you break off a leg of a starfish, the leg will grow back. If we cut off our finger, does the finger grow back? No, it doesn't. But that doctor in Florida, his name is Dr. Eugenio Rodriguez, and he created a special technique, a method. And with that technique, he can grow your finger back. It's amazing. The bones, the soft tissue, which means the skin, the muscles, the ligaments, and even the fingernail. Yeah, the fingernail. It's incredible. So listen to the sentence again. Using a technique created by Dr. Eugenio Rodriguez, the bones, soft tissue, and even the fingernail are growing back. The last sentence. He should be 100% in 8 more weeks. So the man who lost his finger and now his finger is growing back, he should be 100%. His finger should be 100% grown back in 8 more weeks. So the finger is still growing. And there are pictures on the internet. Oh, the pictures are kind of gross, but it's really an amazing story. I think it's great news. So if you can grow somebody's finger back, and he did it, well then maybe you can grow lungs and a liver, an ear, an arm. Maybe you could grow a heart. Wouldn't that be amazing? Yeah, modern technology, fantastic. As long as we use technology to help people, boy, nothing can stop us. Fantastic. And Dr. Eugenio Rodriguez, he comes from Puerto Rico, and he's an amazing doctor. He's doing a great job, and he says God has given him this talent. Well, congratulations. I think it's fantastic. Maybe I need to do some praying too and get some good talent. Okay, so that's the story. I hope that you understand. Let's look at the key expressions and words. A dog is a man's best friend. We say that in America. Ought to, O-U-G-H-T, to, T-O. Ought to, when we say it fast, oughta, oughta. It means should. We really ought to study. We really should study. In America, should is much more common than ought to, but ought to is a great expression, and you can use it anytime. Consider, to consider something, to think about something. Swine, a swine. A pig, S-W-I-N-E. It's the medical word or the science word for a pig. Index finger, I-N-D-E-X, finger, index finger. That's right after your thumb and before the middle finger. So between the thumb and the middle finger is your index finger. Another name, the pointer. Bitten off, B-I-T-T-E-N-O-F-F. So when we bite something, we can bite a piece of pizza. Bitten off is the past participle, and it's used as an adjective to describe a finger that is no longer there because somebody bit it off. In this case, it wasn't a somebody, it was a horse. Did you know a long time ago there was a famous boxer? His name was Mike Tyson. And during a boxing match, Mike Tyson actually bit off his competitor's ear, a part of the ear. Using a technique, T-E-C-H-N-I-Q-U-E, a technique is a method, especially a scientific method. And soft tissue, S-O-F-T, T-I-S-S-U-E, 2 words, but when we say it fast, we don't say soft tissue, we say soft tissue, soft tissue. And that refers to your skin, your muscles, your tendons. And fingernail. Yeah, hopefully we have our fingernails. They are the things that we use to clean our ears and pick our nose. Well, some of us. I never do. I never pick my nose. I'm clean, always. Okay, so those are the words. I'm going to read the story 2 more times. The first time, I'll say it nice and slowly. And the second time, I'll use normal speed. Although they say that man's best friend is a dog, we really ought to consider the swine. Thanks to a doctor in Florida and a pig, a man whose index finger was bitten off by a horse is whole once again. Using a technique created by Dr. Eugenio Rodriguez, the bones, soft tissue, and even the fingernail are growing back. He should be 100% in 8 more weeks. Although they say that man's best friend is a dog, we really ought to consider the swine. Thanks to a doctor in Florida and a pig, a man whose index finger was bitten off by a horse is whole once again. Using a technique created by Dr. Eugenio Rodriguez, the bones, soft tissue, and even the fingernail are growing back. He should be 100% in 8 weeks. Did you really understand?
Did you really understand?
Question number 1. What's a swine? Question number 2. True or false? A horse is a man's best friend. Question number 3. Which finger had the problem? Question number 4. What did the horse do? A. Grew a man's finger. B. Bit a man's finger. C. Bit off a man's finger. D. Grew back a man's finger. Question number 5. Did the skin grow back? Okay, it's question and answer time, and the first question comes from Anthony Navarrete. I hope it's Navarrete. I'm sorry if my pronunciation is bad. Anthony's question is, can you teach us the difference between fill it out, fill it in, and fill it up? Yes, I can teach you the difference. This is better if I have a visual, but this is the idea. If they say to fill out something, F-I-L-L-O-U-T, fill this out, fill it out. I want you to fill out this form. Usually, it means you have to write a lot. You have to write about your experience. You have to write sentences, usually. And out, O-U-T, you can think of out, like a long way. So you have to write a lot. Fill it in, when we say in, we're thinking of just a box. So fill this in. Name, Shane. Age, I can't lie, 46. Nationality, American. Okay, so that's fill in. Very short spaces, usually a box. Fill it up. Now here we're using up. And up as a phrasal verb usually means completely. All of it. Do you understand? So fill this out. Once again, you have to write descriptions. For example, a job application. Shane, I want you to fill this out. Why did you leave your last job? I left my last job because I was getting sick and tired of living in this city and I wanted to move to the country. Next question. What is your goal? My goal is to become the world's most loved English coach online. So long sentences. Fill it in. Shane, fill this in. Name, Shane. Nationality, American. Sex, male. And fill it up from the top to the bottom. Fill out the form completely. Okay, Anthony? I hope that answers your question. Question number 2. Yang Ming Chen. Yang Ming Chen asks, are watched the show and watched a show the same? If you're talking about pronunciation, no. If you're talking about meaning, no. If you say, I watched the show, That means we know which show you are talking about. If you say, I watched a show, that means you saw something on television, but I don't know which show. Okay? Now, pronunciation, watched the. What happens here is the D and the TH get linked together, but we keep only the TH. Watched the. I watched the show. I watched the show. Oh yeah, I watched the show. I watched the show. I watched the show yesterday. Watched the show. I'm doing the TH sound. But watched a show, in this case, the D links into the A. So watched the show. Watched the show. I watched a show yesterday. I watched a show yesterday. The D sound is strong. Now, Americans really do hear the TH and the D sound, even if we say it really fast. And also, in the context of the situation, we'll know whether it's the or a. So this takes lots of practice. So, Yangming Chen and everybody else, if you have not seen my videos on YouTube, especially daily dictation, I want you to go there and practice. Watch those videos. And if you really want to learn and practice hardcore, then join my class. My class is DDM, which is Daily Dictation Members. They're great classes, but daily dictation on YouTube is free. So Yangming Chen and everybody else, go there and practice. Our next question is from Mandy Duong. Mandy says, make it to work in one piece. What does that mean? Oh, it's a great expression. I should do this on E cubed. To make it to work in one piece means you arrived at the office safely. Safely. Maybe you were very hurried, you drove really fast, or maybe there was a storm and it was raining really hard and it was kind of dangerous, but you made it. Oh, I made it in one piece. So you didn't get killed, you didn't lose anything, you left your home and you arrived at your office in one piece, safely, without losing anything. It's a great expression. Another question from Chinara Janabulova. I hope my pronunciation was okay. Is it Chinara? Is it Chinara? Or Chinara Janabulova? Could you explain the expression long weekends? Thanks in advance. You're welcome on time. Okay, long weekends. Now he or she used it with an S. A long weekend well, first of all, what is a weekend? For people who aren't Muslim, the weekend is usually Saturday and Sunday. But I think for Muslim people, the weekend is Friday and Saturday, right? And I think that's the case. I'm not sure about Jewish people, but anyway, so it's 2 days. A weekend is generally 2 days. But sometimes, let's go to America. So Saturday and Sunday is the weekend. But sometimes we get Friday off. Yay! A 3-day weekend. And sometimes we get Monday off. Yeah! A 3-day weekend. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 3 days. That is a long weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 3 days. That's a long weekend. Right now in South Korea, we are having a long weekend. There's a big holiday on Thursday, and it's called Chuseok, which is basically a harvest holiday, similar to Thanksgiving in America. So in Korea, we have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. That's a super long weekend. Do you like long weekends? Yeah, long weekends are great. So if you're in Korea, have a great long weekend this weekend. What about the other Asian countries? Do you have a similar holiday perhaps this weekend? I think you might. I don't know, but if you do, let me know. So that is your answer for a long weekend. I do have another question. This is from Abdo Amkie. I hope my pronunciation was right. Your podcasts are very helpful. Thank you. I have a question. How to improve? How can I improve my speaking, especially with phrases and sentences like a Native American? I want a Native American accent. Well, Abdo, just like I told our friend Yang Ming Cheng, I want you to go to my YouTube channel. Now, I have two YouTube channels for regular daily English. One of them is Daily Dictation. Daily Dictation is a fantastic channel, and we take real English and we dictate it. And then I teach you the pronunciation, the linking, and the cancellation, and we talk about the meaning. So that's a fantastic channel to work on your pronunciation and to learn expressions. So once again, www.youtube.com/dailydictation. The other channel, if you haven't been there, is Daily Easy English. So www.youtube.com/dailyeasyenglish. And on that channel, I teach expressions. Sometimes phrasal verbs, sometimes expressions like, a man's best friend is a dog. Really great expressions. And I don't talk about pronunciation too much there, but I do teach lots of expressions, and I show you a situation, how Americans use those expressions. And finally, join my class, DDM, Daily Dictation Masters. Members. But they're going to be masters. We have a great community. People practice all the time. That's the best way. Practice. Join my class. But at least listen to the podcast and go to my YouTube channels. Okay? And I got one more question. I got a question and a comment. Taima Toto said, in podcast 1, you said corpulent, corpulant, and it's corpulent, corpulent. Oh my God. Yes, my spelling was wrong. Spelling is my enemy. I apologize. So if you listen to the lesson and you made a note, please change it. Corpulent, which means fat, obese. The spelling is corpulent. Thank you very much. Okay, I have one more question. It's from Enrica Rusanova. And she says, thanks for the videos. She watched all of DD, Daily Dictation. And thank you very much. And she gave me my year birthday. That's right, we had our 1-year birthday for Daily Dictation. Thank you so much. And her question is rise and raise. RISE. I'm never sure if I have chosen the correct one. Would you please help me out with those confusing words? This is really confusing for Americans too, especially kids when they're taking a grammar test. So let me give you these rules, and I found these on the internet. Very short, very simple. Write them down, and then you need to practice. The verb rise means to go to a higher position. The verb raise means to lift something to a higher position. Rise is intransitive, which means it never has an object. Raise is transitive, which means it almost always has an object. Things rise by themselves. The sun rises. I rise at 7 o'clock every morning. things are raised by something else. I raised my hand. My dad raised his voice. Present tense, rise, raise. Past tense, rose, raised. Past participle, risen, raised. Now there's an exercise that you can find on Google. Just type rise or raise and then type Sinclair, Sinclair, and you should be able to find a PDF file. And that PDF file has many questions, so I encourage you to practice and see if you can figure it out. Share your answers with other students. It's a great question. It's tricky. It is very tricky. Americans, we don't think about it when we speak, but suddenly if we're looking at a grammar test, especially children, they do get confused. Okay, so you're not alone. Thank you guys for the questions, and keep those questions rolling in.
How you doing, everybody? This is Country Shane, and I'm here to bring you the facts. Y'all might have heard the expression, you eat like a pig. I've heard it, especially when I eat pizza. People say, I eat pizza like a pig. But pigs don't eat like pigs. No, they prefer to eat very slowly, and they savor their food. They're actually very clean animals. This has been Country Shane bringing you the facts.
Hey guys, this is Cliff Langston from the YouTube channel That Was History. How many of you are familiar with the famous abolitionist and popular leader of the Underground Railroad, Harriet Tubman? She played a huge role in helping many African American slaves escape to the free states in the northern regions of North America during the time period of the American Civil War. Did you know that September 17th of 1849 was the day that Harriet Tubman successfully escaped from slavery? Pretty neat, isn't it? If you'd like to learn about other great events from history, be sure to join us by searching for That Was History on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
All right, it's time for Let's Master English's studying tip. Today, make a notebook. Get a notebook. I have a little notebook, and when I hear a new word in Korean, and I want to memorize that word, I want to know that word, I write it down. Now, a lot of people use their smartphones. There's a notepad in your smartphone. That's great. You can type it in your smartphone or put it on your computer. But the most important thing, if you write it or type it only once, you're going to forget it. Really, you're going to forget it. So my recommendation is write it down or type it in one place, and then pick a day every week, like Monday or Friday or Sunday night, and transfer your things on your smartphone to an actual notebook. So you're typing it once and then using a pencil or a pen the next time. That is really important. If you do that, words really stick. Now remember, when you write things down, writing just the word is okay, but try and write the sentence. So having a notebook, using your smartphone, writing it in your computer, maybe a journal or a diary in your computer, are very important things to memorize new words, to learn a new expression. It's not everything, but it's really important. My tip for you, please remember, write it twice. Write it with your pencil or a pen and type it. Doing it 2 times really reinforces that word or expression. It'll be easier to remember. And of course, remember when you're writing the word, say it. don't say it to yourself inside your head. At least write it down. Go, for example, today, did we learn, rise, rise, I rise every morning at 7 a.m. The sun rises. And the same thing with raise, but you have to say it. So as you're writing, say it. And write it twice. And then once again, pick that one day a week when you transfer your written notes to your computer or your computer notes to your notebook. Okay? That's my studying tip for the week. I hope you liked it, and I hope you use it. Well, that's going to do it for me today, everybody. I hope that you have a fantastic week. And once again, please tell everybody about the podcast. I would really appreciate it. And don't forget to check out my website, letsmasterenglish.com. It's also our community on Google+, Let's Master English. And we have lots of YouTube channels and our online course, DDM. If you have any questions or if you want a free sample of DDM, send me an email, dailydictationmembers@gmail.com. All one word. See you next time, and let's master English!